Hi guys, welcome to the afternoon. This is our first live Project LUNI live stream. My name's Helene. I won't flick it around so you can see me. I'm not as interesting as the kittens and the mama cat here, Olive. I'll just introduce you. Here we go. So here to the left is, oh, apparently I can't turn my phone around when I'm live. This here is a little girl that arrived yesterday. She's currently not on our Project LUNI site, and her name's Lottie. She's integrated, but she's a bit demanding, and that's why she's eating separately at the moment. And here, this is our little girl, Frances. Frances has got a great story. I'll share that with you in a minute. And here is our very, very special girl. This is our beautiful little Olive, Mama Olive. Now Olive, she's obviously picked some food off and taken it onto the floor there. She's just a little girl herself. She's less than a year old. And she's the mum. So this little guy here, his name is Helmut. He really does look big, but tomorrow. So what we're going to do today, I'm just going to let you spend some time with them. As you can see, obviously they're eating right now. Typically they will have a bit of a groom after they're eating, and then hopefully you'll get to see the most gorgeous girl, Olive, giving her baby some food. You can just see here she got a bit of a push from little Frances. Olive, honestly, is just the sweetest girl. And it makes me so sad. She's just a kitten herself, but she has done the most amazing job with these babies. I'm just going to turn the food around so that Frances doesn't take it all from Mama Olive. So as I said, Olive and her babies arrived with us about 3 weeks ago, and she had 5 kittens. So she had little Helmut that you can see, the orange and white boy. Then she had her little girl Lola, who looks a mirror image of her. She had the most amazing kitten called Sergio, who's gone to a beautiful home with a lovely woman called Pearly. He was white with a black tail, and his brother is also with Pearly, so that's lovely that the two of them are together. And we do try and do that a lot at LUNI, is we do like the kittens to be in pairs to give each other company, which makes it much better for you as the adopter too, because you don't have to worry about them so much, and you don't have to entertain them as much when they can entertain them themselves. So that was Sergio Nelson have gone with Pearly. They left last week, and gorgeous little kitten as well. The funniest story, we had a beautiful tabby and white daughter, I thought it was daughter, of gorgeous Olive here. And I was confirmed, and I've done this for years, I was sure she was a little girl, so I named her Margot. And when I took them to the vet to get their immunisation and their deworming, etc., which is something that we always make sure that we do at LUNI so that they're all prepared, she was actually a boy. So that was a bit disconcerting. So I had to change her name there at the time, and I called her Walter. Anyway, she has now gone with her new home, and she's been recalled Sydney. And that's a good name because it can be a girl or a boy. So I think this poor little cat had a bit of an identity crisis, because I was calling this little boy Margot for a couple of weeks. Anyway, so there you go, there's little Lola, always sitting with her mum, and they've got little different markings, but on the top they're really quite similar. Their situation was that they were found in a place by a rescuer some weeks ago. They were found under a car and hiding, and they were in a pretty bad state. We've no doubt that they were probably at a home, and they had been abandoned when the kittens were considered to be old enough, which is absolutely devastating. And these are the types of things that we always try and help with LUNI, is to take these kittens out of these really horrible environments and cats out of these environments, and then look after them, get them ready, and get them to be adopted by loving people like yourselves. So they were rescued and they were brought to me very safely. We understand social distancing, but it was a situation that I did personally. It wasn't through LUNI. And I reached out to LUNI then at that time when I had them and asked if I could advertise them through LUNI. So we always like to do the right thing with respect to the authorities, etc. So they came to me, and amazingly, they were just so affectionate and loving. And the first thing that happened when I let them out of the cage, the 6 of them, the mum with the 5 children, was that little Nelson came running up to me and wanted me to pick him up, which I did. So saying goodbye to those kittens last week was pretty tough, was pretty hard. But we're always having kittens that need to be rescued and looked after. And there's a bit of action in the back here. You can probably hear all that noise. That would be the litter tray, which is a very common occurrence after they have eaten. So as you can see, these 2 are siblings. This is little Lola and Helmut. And over in the litter tray, sorry about this, Francis. I know it's a very private moment. There's little Francis going to the bathroom there. And Lola's going in to give her a bit of a, she's observing, or just giving her a little bit of a hand there. Anyway, so I have a foster room situation, so we always try and pop the litter tray in the bathroom if we can. Helmut's going in to help as well, very considerate boy. Oh, Lola, you don't need to join, darling. Oh, all right then. So they're little and they do like to do things together. When I first rescued the kittens, sometimes you'd find after their lunch or their dinner or breakfast, they'd all hop into the litter tray together. So that was pretty impressive. So food time's finished. This is the semi-empty bowls. As I was saying to you, this little empty bowl here, that was the one that little Lottie, who arrived yesterday, has been eating from. So Lottie was a kitten that just turned up to a lady's house over in the east and was crying and demanding food. And the lady reached out to me personally, again, not through LUNI, and we had the kitten brought to me yesterday by someone who is allowed to transport kittens in Circuit Breaker. And I've just, oh, here we go, sorry. There we go. And now Lola's in the bathroom being supported by Francis. So it's quite, oh, Francis, you don't need to join her, darling. I don't know if anyone wants to see what's going on here, sorry. There we go. Little Francis is just supporting Lola there, observed by little Helmut. I'm going to leave them to that. You'll probably see Helmut go in there in a minute. Now over here, I'm just going to take you over to beautiful little Olive. And as you can see, as I said before, she really is a kitten herself. Typically, after they've eaten and they've been to the toilet, they'll come over to Olive. They'll come over to Olive. I hope you can all hear me. They'll come over to Olive and they'll probably drink some milk shortly. So maybe someone could let me know on a message, if you don't mind, if you can hear this all okay. It might be a bit boring, but otherwise I'm rabbiting on and no one can hear. And you're not getting all the great information about these beautiful kittens and the mum. So Olive, when she arrived, actually all the kittens and Olive, their beautiful white fur was absolutely no longer white. It was all grey, and they looked like they'd been hiding under a car, which is exactly what they had been doing. They had a little bit of oil and grease on them, so we had to give them a clean. Oh, great. Thank you, guys. I'm really pleased that you can hear. I'm sorry. I'm an Australian, so I do talk quite a lot. It's a cultural and probably a genetic issue there. So, yeah, so they were really pretty dirty. And we had a bit of a debate as to do we wash them or not, because typically when kittens are about 8 weeks or younger, you try not to fully bathe them as much as possible. Because it can be bad for them if you don't get them dried properly. But there are certainly situations where you need to do that. And certainly if they've got fleas or anything like that, you really need to address that. Or if they've had accidents or been kept in a really difficult situation, they'll often need a bath. Anyway, so I debated whether to bathe these kittens. And I got the special kitten shampoo. And I was just waiting to do it because I knew it would be pretty traumatic for them. Anyway, within a day or so, they were all back to white. And I would say that this remarkable girl here, the most beautiful girl, and my husband has told me I'm not allowed to adopt her and I can't. So it's why we're looking for a beautiful home for her. She washed them all and they suddenly were just pristine and beautiful. And they even smelt lovely. So she She's done really great, Olive. Olive was pretty underweight when she arrived. I keep saying she's a great mother, but I really mean that. She had looked after these kittens, obviously in an abandonment situation. We know that they were there at least 5 days, and someone had been feeding them. Here comes little Helmut. Helmut worships his mother. Worships his mother. They are always together. They're always grooming each other. And I'm sure he'll have a drink in a minute. I think he's looking for that now. Hello, my darling boy. Oh, Helmut likes to climb legs. Yes, don't you, darling? Come on, say hello. Say hello so everyone can see this beautiful face. Hey? Oh, my beautiful boy. Yes, that's the camera. Okay. I'm one of those typical cat people who speak in little baby voices to the kittens. I'm sure they're not that impressed. Makes me feel better. As you can see, he's got a special little tail, as does his sister. Now this is pretty amazing. She has got a long tail, and I'm going to try and get a picture from it. See how that goes off? It tilts to the right. Isn't that funny? I've had lots of kittens and rescues and things here. I've seen twisty tails, I've seen curly tails, I've seen short tails. I've never seen a tail that just dipped off to the right or the left. Here's little Frances. And I know I haven't finished the story on Olive. I'm a bit distracted. Now, I just want you to know her story. This is remarkable. And I can see the lovely Frances Diana on this live stream who's watching. Frances is remarkable. Frances and her husband rescued this little girl here who she called Simba. And now Simba is a beautiful name, but we just love what Frances did so much that we have named this little girl, this cute little playful girl, Frances, in Frances, her rescuer's honour. She arrived, oh gosh, when was it? Friday, the day that Nelson and Sergio left. And I was a little bit anxious about bringing in another kitten into the family. I knew that little Olive, and Olive's up on the bed now, so she's getting ready to give them a feed. So I'll show you that in a sec. I was a bit worried what Olive was going to do. Anyway, she just observed Frances. Frances was a little bit food protective in her first day or so, which is understandable. She'd been by herself and she'd been rescued. She's now seeing that what she can eat from the end of the bowl. And anyway, I've got the most remarkable videos. Within a day, probably 2 days, this little Frances was drinking from Mama Olive. Now, Olive, it's not even Olive's kitten. So the fact that she adapted so well and took on little Frances is pretty remarkable. And what's even better is that Frances knew not to be afraid. She'd obviously had a really great experience with our lovely rescuer Frances's home. And she just quickly adapted to the new environment here. And I think she honestly believes she is the daughter of Olive. Now, Olive is up here playing on the bed now with the babies. I think she's wondering what I'm doing with all these videos. And this isn't a surprise. I mean, Olive, as you can see, is just a young girl herself. You know, she's less than a year old, according to the vet. We have taken her to the vet to make sure that she is healthy, of course. As I said, she was underweight. She's had blood tests, so we know that she doesn't have FIV and she doesn't have FELV either. We got her calcium, we got her full bloods checked, just to make sure that she was in a healthy situation. Here come, oh my God, hello, my darling. This is little Lola. Lola's such a lady. I think Helmut's a bit of a lady as well. Am I allowed to say that? And maybe Frances is probably the little bit of the boy here. So as you can see, you would swear that Frances was actually related. She honestly thinks she's part of this family. Come on, Olive, you're going to give them some milk, darling. Come on. Oh, they're all play mode. So yeah, this is the gang. I think little Lottie's gone off and she's having a little rest somewhere. So it's a really strange thing that, or it's more unusual, I should say, that Olive is feeding these kittens. They're about 12 weeks old now. Little Frances is a little bit younger. She's a little bit smaller, as you can see. Oh, that's my glass of water. There we go. That's Lola. Lola loves, like many cats, drinking just from a glass, even though we have tons of water here. She's just a sweet girl. Very, very gentle. And we just really want to use this opportunity for you guys who are on this call and watching. For you can actually, rather than just me talking like this, you can actually just go online to Project LUNI, go onto Facebook, and if you'd like to meet any of these guys, and that's what this whole session is about, let us know. We've got a really good situation here with these 4 kittens, and Lottie's still acclimatizing, but with little Lola, our gorgeous Olive, as you can tell I'm a little bit addicted, then we've got our little Francis here, and our Helmut. The interesting thing is they all get on so well. So ultimately we would like them to be adopted in pairs, unless you have a situation where you might have a current cat or even a dog, and that the little cat or the kitten isn't going to get lonely. That's really important, particularly when circuit breaker's over and we all go back to work. They can do this all day, and I tell you what they do. It's pretty remarkable. So, you know, you might be interested to take Helmut and his mum, Olive, for example. That's the pair I would love to see together, because they pretty much are totally devoted to each other. And notwithstanding, it could be Lola and Helmut together, Lola and the mum. It could be Olive and Helmut. There's lots of choices here, but we really ideally, unless you have another kitten or cat or a dog, we would really love for them to go in pairs. Particularly Olive, I really would love her because she's been the most remarkable mother. The fact that she's still feeding these guys, which I started to tell you before, you know, they're 12 weeks old. Kittens can be weaned at 4 weeks. Ideally, it should be 8 weeks. We should, you know, leave them as much as we can. But around 8 weeks, the mother often will start to push them away. Now, for some reason, Olive, who's walking away from the camera, isn't interested to push them away. And so she lays there time after time, and I'm sure we've got some of the photos on our Facebook site, and she just feeds them constantly, just lets them go. And that's been a bit of a concern for me because they're getting a little bit big now, but we make sure that they're eating a lot. So we're feeding them about 4 to 5 times a day with wet food. They have their dry food. I'll just show you. I've got their dry food here, and I'm using a Royal Canin mother cat and baby cat, I think it's called, mother and baby cat kibble, because it's nice and small. I'm going to have to feed Olive after this call again. She did eat just quite a bit, but with Olive, we're letting her eat as much as she can because, you know, she's still feeding the kittens and we don't want her to get unhealthy or tired, and we want her to, you know, remain really well, ready for when she's adopted. We've got a bit of a chase situation over here. Francis is about to jump. Sorry, I'm waving the camera around. Is about to jump on Helmut. Helmut, when you see kittens, you've probably seen them on videos drinking from their mother. They usually have their ears back. Their ears go back because they're so focused on sucking the milk. And Helmut still does that even now when he's eating food. So he's just the sweetest boy. And he's clearly going under the quilt here. Oh, Francis. What are you doing? Oops-a-daisies. Oops, that was a bit of a scary one. What's happening, Helmut? What's going on? Hello, darling. Helmut's a really gentle boy. He's without, and I know I've already said it, he's a mummy's boy. He's very gentle. He loves his cuddles. He follows me around when I open up the door. So this is sort of our foster room. It's a spare room situation. Oh, hey, we've just got a great question. Why are all their tails so short? Really great question. I know when I arrived here 17 years ago, I had no idea why the Singaporeans kept on docking the tails of the kittens. Well, they don't. It's a genetic issue. So we'll see here, this is Mama Olive's tail. So rather than it being perfectly straight, it has a little bit of a kink in it. So it's just something that's happened over time. I guess that we're not sure whether cats in Singapore years ago maybe mixed with there's a British bobtail, there's a couple of other naturally shorter pedigree tail, short tail pedigree cats. But we've all got all different types here. Little Lottie over here who arrived yesterday. Hello, darling. Lottie loves to play under here with all the toys. So she's got a perfect tail. It's got a little bit of a kink at the end. And of my cats, and I have a number of cats, I've got one with what you would call a perfect tail. But hey, what is a perfect tail? You might be wondering, do their short tails mean that they don't have very good balance? Actually, it doesn't affect their balance at all. Whether it's a short tail, a curly tail, a bobtail. I recently rescued a kitten that had no tail. He's gone to a wonderful family as well. And his name's Willie. He's on Instagram. He has no tail. Funniest thing you've ever seen. Perfect balance and doesn't affect him at all. So, Francis and Helmut, as you can see, are very close. They would be a lovely pair to adopt. And please reach out to us if you are interested to have an e-meet with these kittens. What happens with our e-meet is we have a chat to you first. You get to meet one of our lovely admin people from LUNI, and we've got some wonderful, wonderful volunteers involved who will have a chat to you. And then we'll arrange a meeting where we'll do an e-meet with you directly. And then you can have a chat to these guys. We can talk to you with any questions that you might have. And it's a big commitment having a kitten. It's something that, you know, not for people to take lightly. We understand. We have had some inquiries, like a number of the other animal welfare groups, etc., and charities, with people saying, oh, we're on circuit breaker, we'd like to have a kitten, we'd like to have a puppy, we've got some time. But what we have to think about is what happens when we all go back to work? What happens when we don't have as much time? What happens if Singapore is not the place where you're going to live long term and you're going to go back to your country? So maybe your home is in Thailand or Kuala Lumpur or Australia. It's all a cost to move your kitten. And what we don't want is we don't want to have happen what actually does happen here quite a bit, where people say, oh, we're moving, we need to find a new home for our cat. I'm a little bit harsh. I say, well, would you find a new home for your child because he can't afford the airfare? That's how I feel about kittens. So, oh, sorry, Olive, you're going to the toilet. Sorry, darling. So we want to make sure that this is forever. You know, cats can live, typically their lifespan is around, 13 to 16 normally. But of course, we all know stories of cats that are much older. I've had 3 19-year-old cats. I currently have 2 17-year-old cats, and that are still doing really, really well. Here's little Francis. She's so playful. Come on, darling. What's this? What's this? I don't know if you can see very clearly on there. Frances, you would initially look at her and think, oh, she looks like a typical sort of tabby mixed colour cat. I want you to see her tummy. Can you see that? Look at that. Isn't that the most beautiful thing? Frances has the most amazing markings. She's almost like a tea colour, and we're pretty convinced that as she grows, her colours are going to come out even more. And because I'm holding the phone, and I want to pick her up and show you how I cuddle her, but then I have to flip the phone around and I don't want to be awkward with you. I just can't reiterate how cuddly she is. Her rescuer is on this live stream, I think, watching, Frances, and you would certainly know that she is the most cuddly girl. You can pick her up, cuddle you into your neck, and she just dips her head and pushes into you. She is just beautiful. I've slept in this room with them, the foster room, a couple of times because I just love sleeping with kittens, and she is just such a cuddle bug. Now over here, I want to show you. This is our little girl that arrived yesterday. This is little Lottie. So Lottie arrived, and she arrived with this special transport, a person that we have who was able to work during this period of time. And he handed the kitten to me. We had social distancing, etc. And I brought her into this room. Here we go. Here's Olive. Olive loves the scratchy board. Thank you, Frances. We brought little Lottie into the room in her basket. We opened up the basket, and I swear all of these little guys, there's little Lola playing in there. Oh, and Helmut, all came up to the basket and welcomed her. And we've got some amazing pictures of that. It's just incredible. And she didn't hiss, she didn't get upset. We got her out of the crate, and she got accepted really, really quickly. I think Olive probably thought, oh no, I've got another kitten that I'm going to have to feed. Little Lottie hasn't gone to her for feeding, and I don't think that she will. She's a little bit bigger. You just see Lottie's still acclimatizing. She hasn't even been here 24 hours. So as you can tell, she's super, super playful. She's a little bit food protective, and you'll see her occasionally do that little hiss. She's not rough, she's not aggressive in any way. That's more like a just give me some space hiss. So that doesn't mean I'm going to scratch you or I'm going to bite you. It just means give me some space. Super, super playful girl. Incredible. We don't know whether she was abandoned. We suspect she was. She turned up at someone's back door crying for food. And this lovely lady fed her for the last few days, reached out to me, and I sort of said, well, I've already got this gorgeous little girl, Frances, here. So, how about... I'm sure going to be in the situation that Frances is in a couple of days. What are you doing, darling? It's like she's had the most perfect eyeliner, that she's been shopping at Sephora and she's learned how to apply eyeliner well. Look at that tummy. Hello, darling. Beautiful, beautiful girl. And again, that tail. So near perfect tail with that sweet little kink at the end. I've had rescued groups or a litter of kittens before where one's had a perfect tail and one's had no tail, and there were 4 of everything in between. So yeah, really, really interesting. Oh, Mama Olive has gone off and hidden. She doesn't look like she wants to feed them at the moment, so you may not get to see that. Now, even though I just fed them before, I'm not going to feed them again because they get a little bit gutsy. But as you can see here, little Frances, even though she's had a lot of food, is still looking. There we go. And oh, little Helmut. Now, you can see he's a little bit bigger, so we suspect that he's 1 to 2 weeks older, that he and his sister are a little bit older. Darling, it's empty, sweetheart. Well, look, I can see if there's... Look, sorry guys, this is like the scraps. They're still hungry. Don't think that it's not because we're not feeding them. Where I worry I'm feeding them too much. I seriously wonder if I'm feeding them too much. They're getting really big really quickly, and they're being supported by Olive, but they're always hungry. So when they hear me walk past the door going to our bedroom, which is on the other side, they start crying, which is give me food, give me food. As I said, we always have the dry food available for them, and we fill that up all the time. Lola, what are you doing, darling? I'm not sure what Lola's playing with in there. I'm sure there are many of you who are looking at this live stream and you have cats. What is it about cats that when you go to the bathroom, they come in and they watch you? Why is that? And then I thought, is that because we watch them when they're in the litter tray? Maybe it is. They're just getting it back. Helmut doesn't understand why he can't hit his sister. She's behind glass, darling. Okay, what a bit... Oh, hello, here's Olive. Yeah, so I'm not sure when Olive's going to wean the kittens. I think the most important thing is, as you know, and as I said, kittens can be weaned, at 4 weeks. We like to say 8 weeks is ideal. And at 8 weeks, typically, the mums just start pushing them away. Olive... given that she's such an exceptional mum, and the fact that she's taken another kitten on in the shape of little Frances, who thinks she was born from Olive. Oh, darling, here we go. Here you go, have a look in there. You're making it look like I don't feed you guys. We really, really would like Olive to go to a home, as I mentioned before, with one of her babies. And so, whether that is Helmut or whether it's Lola, I would even be comfortable if she went with this gorgeous little Frances, because Frances seriously thinks that Olive is her mum. And Olive treats Frances like one of her own. So I would hate for this beautiful girl who's done so much and protected her babies when she was basically thrown out in the cold and abandoned under a car, and she found food for them, and then she fed them and she put them first, and she still does. So when we serve food, she will not eat first. She waits for all of the kittens to eat, and they're very demanding, and then she will eat. She's just so beautiful. So I want her to have the most beautiful home. She's so special. There you go, my darling. I've never seen her hiss. I've never seen her growl. I've never seen her unhappy. She just is a big love bug. She loves to sit on you. She's such a special girl, our Olive. And you know, as the vet said, she's not even a year old. So imagine that, being such a young girl, having these kittens, being thrown out in the cold. And we'd hate to think what would have happened to her if that lovely rescuer hadn't found her. I can't imagine. I don't like to think about it. So the girls love sitting out and looking, and the boys, I say Helmut. I've got some great pictures, and if you'd like to see them, contact us at LUNI. We've got lovely pictures of each of the kittens. They love sitting at the window and looking outside, looking at the garden. Typical cat, they love looking out windows, chasing or looking at birds. Olive is, I'm not sure what she's going to do here. I really would love it if she fed the kittens for you. I'm sorry we don't have that happening. But if you'd like to see, we've got lots of videos. Just go on to LUNI's Facebook. Ask us if you'd like to see some videos, if you'd like more pictures. We would love it if you have fallen in love with these kittens like we have, and Olive, who, look at that, she looks like a kitten, doesn't she? We would love to get them the best homes. Can you see this? There's something under that bed. Who is it? Let's see who it is. Who is it? Is it Helmut? I bet it's Helmut. Oh my goodness, no, it's not. It's Francis. Francis, what are you doing? Francis? Darling, what are you doing? Peekaboo. Hi. Hey, Francis. What are you doing? You're confusing Olive. I think Olive's a bit worried about that. Looks like a snort. There we go. Oh. 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 Yeah, so I'm obviously not getting as much work done as I should be right now. Here we go. Look at Olive. What a pretty girl. Let's see what she's looking at. I've got some dogs. I've got 2 dogs. She might be looking at the dogs. What can you see? What's out there, darling? Sorry, I just touched the wrong thing. I'm not sure what time it is, guys. Do let me know if someone can let me know. I'm not sure how to check. Oh, here we go. We've got half an hour to go. You're probably quite bored with all of my talking, and I can't even show you her feeding. Look at that special girl. Not that you can tell, but she's really, really, really soft. Her fur is just like silk. There we go. You right, my darling? Hey, you're going to give the baby... Now, who's under here? There we go. Oh. Helmut. You might be wondering where I got the name Helmut. It's actually after my father-in-law, who's Austrian. I'm not sure what he thinks that I've called a kitten after him. But people get used to it when they think you're the crazy cat people or the crazy cat lady. What's going on under here? Hello. What are you doing, darling? Are you going to come out and play? What are you doing? Hey, Francis. Francis. Hey. Hello, darling. Hello, darling. Frances has got even bigger in the last week. So she was, well, she's still a small girl, of course, but she's put on a bit of weight. She was looked after so very well by her rescuer, Frances, who just loved her and really, really looked after her. And unbelievably, one of her favourite toys was a spoon, a plastic spoon. And she was obsessed by this plastic spoon. She still has it. We've got so many toys everywhere here. Let's see what we've got here. Here we go. Oh, she's under there again. I'll just see what else is going on. What's happening here? This is little Lottie, who arrived just yesterday. So she's got beautiful markings, and she's really, really, really shiny. She looks a little bit like some sort of panther. But look at that tummy. Isn't that amazing? Oh yes, darling. And this is one of her toys that came over with her. What's this? What's going on here? Last night, you can see the feathers on this toy. Her instinct, her hunting instinct, because at the end of the day, you know, she is a cat, she bit the end of those feathers and she dragged them, and she dragged them into that area and literally sat with it. And when anyone went near her, she growled. So she obviously thought that that was her prey, and she'd killed her prey. So, a bit of a sweet girl. That doesn't sound sweet, does it? But she knows her instinct, and she just wants to play. She isn't sleeping as much as the others. She's still, like, obviously this is a new environment. But she is very playful. So if you're looking for an energetic, fun, wants to play, and I think that this little girl, you can actually teach her tricks. Everyone thinks you can only teach dogs tricks, right? But you can't. You can teach cats tricks. It's not easy, but it can be done. And if you're thinking I'm super crazy, just go and check it with an internet search. Google cat tricks, and you will certainly see it. And you can also see that there are people who take their cats swimming, of all things. So not all cats are the same. They don't all hate water. I've got one cat that when I run a tap or the shower wants to come and sit and get sprayed, so it's a bit strange. But yeah, this little girl is a very playful girl. And who have we got? What's going over here with? Oh, here we go. This is my boy, my special boy. This is the mummy's boy. If you'd like to meet Helmut, if you'd like to meet any of the guys, just ask us. We would love to find them the most beautiful homes. Whoa, there we go. What's going on under here, darling? This is Lola and Helmut. So siblings, just love each other. For those that weren't on the call earlier, Helmut and little Lola here, they're the babies of the most gorgeous mum here, little Olive, who's just having a bit of a rest. I think she's a Hollywood star up there. And these guys had 3 siblings. They had Sergio and Nelson, who went to their new family last week as a pair, which was wonderful. And little Margot, who actually wasn't a Margot, she was a Walter, because she was not a girl. I misjudged that. And her new name is Sydney, and she's got a new family and a brother who's a 5-year-old golden retriever. So he's doing really well. And these guys are still waiting for their forever home. So we would love it if you would contact us, ask for an EMET, put in an application. Tell us about yourself, tell us your situation. Tell us what, like where you live. Do you live in an apartment, a house? One of the things we do ask, guys, so just be prepared that we will ask this, is that we do want to make sure that if you are in an apartment situation, an HDB situation, that you have your windows meshed. People say, oh, my cat's got really good balance, and my mum and dad and my grandparents had cats for years and they never had meshing. Look, you only have to go on Facebook, for example. There's Olive. And you can see that cats have accidents every day. The worst thing is obviously you lose the life of your beautiful cat, your beloved family member, or, they survive, which we're very grateful for. And we've seen bills, up to the thousands. Just yesterday, another fall, and someone had, the kitten had broken its hips, broken its legs, broken its jaw. And there's no need, for some meshing, and it's not super expensive. You can get it from a hardware store. You can put it up with some cable ties. You've got peace of mind. A lot of people just do have air conditioning all the time, but you might have that window open just ajar. You're on the 9th floor or the 20th floor, and your kitten's on the windowsill, and it sees a bird and it loses its balance, and no one wants to have that. So we really do push very hard for the meshing. It really is essential for yourself, for your peace of mind, but for the life of your new family member. And here's my beautiful girl, Olive. So it might be repetition for those of you who've been on the call the whole time, but Olive is certainly not a full adult yet. She's raised these beautiful 5 babies. She's still letting them drink milk from her, which is remarkable because they're 3 months old now. And we've got some great pictures if you want to see them of her feeding the kittens. And I got to tell you, it looks a little odd because they're getting bigger now, and she's just a petite lady. You can see by the size of my hand that she is not a large girl. She has put on weight since we've had her. She's been here 3 weeks, and she's put on nearly 350 grams now, which is awesome. She looked after these kittens when she was abandoned. She never left them. She found food for them. When they got to my house 3 weeks ago, she groomed them all meticulously so they look fabulous. And she never got defensive. She never hissed at me. She never did anything wrong. All she's ever done is wanted a beautiful cuddle and a tummy rub. She's got the best tummy. Here we go. She's going to show you her tummy. Hello, darling. Look at this. Look at my baby girl. There we go. And look at those eyes. Isn't that the most perfect eyeliner? Wish I could do that. You right, darling? This is her safe place. She comes up here. Even though the kittens can get here, she loves sitting here. Anyone from expat living, she loves sleeping on that magazine there. Don't say your magazines aren't used. And then she can watch what her kittens are doing from here. Look at that face. So Olive has been tested. Look at that. She is FIV negative. She's FELV negative. She's a perfectly healthy girl. We will get her sterilized very shortly when circuit breaker has finished. In between, she is still feeding her little babies. Not only is she feeding her gorgeous son here, Helmut, who obviously I think his sister's under the sheet. Oh, here we go. This is interesting. This is little Lottie, who arrived yesterday. So now Lottie's into the playtime. Amazing how adaptable these kittens are, guys. So poor little Lottie, we think also had been abandoned. What often happens is that some people do like to have cute little kittens, and then they get a little bit big, and then they take them outside, and then they let them defend for themselves. And so little Lottie, we think, was one of those terrible situations, and she made her way to a lovely lady's house. It was a landed property. She somehow got over the back fence, and she turned up at her back door demanding food. So she's been there the last week, and I heard about her and agreed that I would take her. Because as you can tell, she's super friendly. She's very inquisitive. She's very smart. She's got the most remarkable colours. And she loves a cuddle. What have we got here? There we go. Little Helmut. I have to wipe his eyes. Look at that face. You can't see how fluffy he is. Well, you can't feel it. But this guy, he loves a cuddle. Here he is. Come on, darling. Okay, now I'm just showing you the sheet. And playtime again. I was really worried for those of you who are watching that we were that's little Lola. So Lola is there, the little tortoiseshell there, or calico. Oh, here we go. Oh, Francis. Hello, darling. This is little Francis. Francis has been with us 1 week tomorrow. She's got a little bit of an identity crisis in some way. She seriously does think that Olive is her real mum. So she goes to Olive for milk. Now we would say, because this little girl Frances was with our wonderful rescuer also called Frances, because we named this girl in honour of her rescuer. But look at that tummy, look at those markings. We're wondering if she's got something to do with what's called an Aussie cat. Her markings are just incredible. And she's so cuddly and she's so warm. See how she's sort of playing with her teeth here? It's not hurting me. None of them have ever, I've never had blood, I've never had horrible scratches. Often the time they'll play with their paws and they'll have their nails or their claws sheathed, which means that their claws are pulled back. And so they basically sort of just slap you like a little kitten slap. So they're doing this now to themselves. His ears are back. He wasn't impressed with that. But it's just happy play. It's not a nasty, rough play. We haven't had any nasty times with the kittens. So little Frances, who joined us, has just completely become part of the family. And for those of you who weren't on the call, I mentioned that within a couple of days of her arriving, she went to this gorgeous girl, our Olive. She was watching Lola, so Olive's twin and her daughter, and Helmut drinking from Olive, and she climbed on top of them and then started drinking as well. And she thought that was pretty good, and she hasn't stopped. So there we go. Hello, my darling. Hello, my darling. What's going on there, Lottie? So isn't it interesting? People say, oh, it's just a tabby cat. Look how different their markings are. So we've got this incredible marking. There's beautiful tea colours, and there's lovely, like, beautiful M on the forehead. There, like a true Singapore cat. You can't quite see because she's grooming. And then you've got this gorgeous girl here. Look at her, and look at that tail. It's a perfectly long tail with a little kink at the end. Lottie! Oh, hello. Hello, Helmut. What are you doing? What are you doing there, darling? Yeah, oh, that's a little bit of a hiss here. Come on, guys. There we go, darling. She has to learn to play a little bit more gently. We're not worried about that at all. She hasn't even been with us 24 hours. So she's doing really well. You hear a little bit of a there. Oh, and a little bit of rough play here. Nothing to worry about. As you can tell, this little girl, this little Frances, is so sweet. She's just gone on to, oh, hello, darling. Oh, wouldn't you love to meet Frances? Imagine that, having her in your home, having cuddles all the time. Please reach out to us. We would love to get your inquiries. We would love to have these guys have the most wonderful homes. You know, it is a big commitment. It's a commitment for their whole lives. And you know, I started rescuing cats. Careful. Hello, princess. Naughty. There we go. Good girl. And here, look, little Frances, just letting her do whatever. When Frances arrived, she was a little bit food protective as well, but now she eats from the same plates. You don't need to have separate plates for your kittens. You don't need to have the same plate. They'll tell you what you want, what they want, I should say. So when the Olive over here and her kittens arrived 3 weeks ago, I put down lots of separate plates, which was a bit of a waste of time because all they did was they just ate from the same plate. So here we go, look at that face. So this is our lovely mum. You can tell from the face. Here, she's had a little injury. When she arrived, see on her paw, she had a little injury, and now she'd obviously got stuck somewhere and her nail had got damaged. So she was on some antibiotics and she was on a little bit of a painkiller just in case, and we had to put cream on it every day. And it's now healed and it's continuing to heal, but it's basically that issue is over. Look at that face. Hello, darling. She's like, what are you sticking this phone in my face for? They're very, very patient. I'm constantly taking photos and videos. And look at this. So if you'd like to have this in your home, a beautiful girl like Olive, maybe one of her babies, and we could, Helmut or Lola, or I actually think Frances would be a lovely match for her as well because she's become very, very close to her. You can have this little girl, you can wake up to this face every morning. Look at this. So please reach out to us. We would love to get some wonderful applications after today. I love these guys. I've become very attached to them. I cry whenever they leave. But that means that when we find beautiful families, that we can then take in more kittens and cats that need us. Project LUNI is a fantastic group. I've only recently started to do some fostering through them. I used to do it by myself, and it's made my life so much easier. It's such a great group. It's so well administered. These guys really, really, really care. We care about the animals. The funds that are raised go towards sterilisation. It goes towards helping feeders who may not have the money, etc., to feed the stray cats and the community cats. So it's all about helping the community and making life better, not just for the kittens and cats of Singapore, but also for the people who care about them and may not have the resources to be able to look after them themselves. And can I just say, Olive will do this. You could do this for an hour and she won't walk away. She just wants to be loved and protected. And this is her chance. So have a think about Olive. Olive with one of her babies. Who have we got here? Oh, my darling. Who's a special girl? There we go, darling. And this is little Lola. And Lola's the one with this. She's got a very perfectly long tail, but as you can tell, it dips a little bit to the right-hand side. Very, very special. Gorgeous girl. And there's her special brother, Helmut. Now, I would have said a couple of weeks ago that Helmut would have been the most cuddly in the whole group. I can't always say that now. He's so cuddly still. Lola the same. So she'll come and she'll just crawl up and go asleep on your chest. And where's my little Frances gone? Oh, I think Frances is probably playing under the bed again. Oh, I think she's gone. Frances has gone to have a little sleep. You can see, now that is not just a naughty mess under the bed. That is just kitten toys with a little kitten. Frances, come on, darling. She might be tired now. And hello, here's my gorgeous Olive. And Helmut. So as for those of you who weren't with us, Olive arrived 3 weeks ago with her 5 babies, little Helmut. Hello, darling. Show the camera how beautiful you are. So he's got his little bobtail. It's super soft. I just wish you could touch it. He is so soft. So he looks a bit bigger on camera, but as you can see with my hand there, he's not as big as he may appear on camera. He's such a fluffy boy. He's so sweet. And his gorgeous sister Lola. So they were 2 of the 5. And the other 3 have gone to their new homes, wonderful new homes, which is what we're all about at Project LUNI. And we would love it if you would think about, adopting these kittens. If you're looking for a kitten, it's a big commitment. We certainly want to make sure that the kitten has a wonderful home. It's protected. I talked about meshing before, that they get the medical care. We also want to make sure that we insist on them being sterilized, of course, when they're 6 months old. We certainly can't risk for a kitten to go out there, get a bit older, get pregnant, and be in the situation that poor Olive was put in. Poor Olive, when you can see here that you can see that she's feeding, you can probably just see the shape there on her tummy. So it's strange she hasn't fed them right now. She's probably feeling a little bit intimidated because I won't shut up and I'm videoing her the whole time. And look at this girl here. Hello, darling. Hello, Lola. Hello, darling. Look at that tail. Oh my gosh, look at that tail. Isn't that unusual? What a special girl. Oh, hello, this is little Lottie. So Lottie is still playing, as I said, a little bit rough. We're not concerned. The kittens will teach her to be a kitten. So Lottie's obviously been alone or abandoned for a few weeks, and so she still wants to play. She plays all the time, but she's a little bit like, oh, what's going on, and a little bit slappy, and we're not at all worried. I'm not remotely worried about this. She's been with us less than 24 hours, and she's just learning if she's safe. Does she need to protect herself? She's probably been on the street. She's had to fight for food, and luckily we had a wonderful rescuer come to her aid a few days ago, and she arrived to me yesterday. So, you have to give kittens time to decompress. And for those of you who are looking to adopt, please understand that when you get the kittens home, and as I said, ideally we want the kittens to be adopted in pairs, Olive to be with one of the kittens, and with the exception being if you already have a cat or if you have a dog, then that means that the kitten's going to have company. We're all going to go back to work eventually after this circuit breaker, and we don't want the kittens to be alone by themselves when they're just babies and they get bored and they need attention. They also need to be fed, and they need to have a great life. So we really like them to be with someone else, so whether it's a sibling, their mum, or another animal that you might have in the house. So when you look to adopt, we just want to make sure that they're going to have great lives, and that importantly that they will be taken care of medically, with their food, the meshing. They've already had their immunisations, so the kittens have been immunised. Little Lottie hasn't gone to the vet as yet, nor has Frances, but they're going on Saturday for their immunisations. And here we go, these guys, they love feet. And you can tell they're siblings, right? They're just beautiful. And I think they're going over to their mummy now to get some milk. So hopefully we can show you that before we end this session. Poor Olive gets a bit tired. I think she's doing a great job managing these kittens. And as I said, little Lottie that arrived, she's just decompressing. And remember, as I was going to say before, when you do adopt, whether you adopt a cat or kittens or a kitten, just remember what you see here today and the playing and the cuddling and all the rest of it, they won't necessarily do that immediately when they get to your house. It's going to take them a little bit of time. They need to decompress. Little Walter, previously known as Margot, who left us on Thursday, he got to his new home and he was probably the most rambunctious and friendly of all of them. Well, they're all friendly, but really sort of a very outspoken little cat. He got to his new place, and for the first 24 hours, he ate and he drank, and he went to the toilet, which is great, but he hid for that first 24 hours. The family knew, though, because we'd spoken to them a lot, not to be worried. The kitten is now, it's away from its family for the first time. It's in a new environment, new smells, new sights, new sounds. So what they do is they just tend to sit and they just absorb it. And then each day they gradually get more confident. And I can assure you now that that little kitten, whose new name is Sydney, I'm getting videos and he's playing like this every day. Oh my goodness, here we go. So guys, we're coming to the end of our session. You're probably sick to death of hearing my voice. I think the kittens are. We just had an incident over here, you might have just heard it. So Lottie's gone to jump on Olive and have a play, and Olive's like, no. So Olive then just does a little slap with her paw, which is what a mum does. She has to teach the kittens their manners. And then she's saying, no, we're not doing that. And so little Lottie's not remotely impressed. But you can tell that mum's boss here. Olive is the boss here. And that's her job. And what a remarkable mum she is. So if you would like to have this gorgeous girl, you can tell I'm a little bit partial to this beautiful girl, Olive. You can have her in your home. She wants to sleep with you. She wants to be cuddled. I just want to give her the best life ever. So if you think that you can do that, and you would really like to have a chat to us about Olive, or who have we got here? Oh, about little Lottie. And, oh, there's my little Lola. I just love playing in the bathroom. And my little Helmut. And where's Frances? Frances is sleeping under the bed. So Frances is right at the end there. You can't even see her. She's tired. She's a little bit younger. We would love to get your applications. If you'd like to see more videos, I'd love to share the video of Olive feeding this gorgeous family. Just let us know. So I'm going to end this now, and thanks again for coming on board. Thanks for supporting LUNI. It's a brilliant group, great group of people, and thanks to all the volunteers who have helped to make this happen today. I'm going to leave you with a shot of my little lovely Olive, and we'll look forward to doing it again soon. Thanks, guys.